Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do a little movie review, something a little different than a trailer reaction. I'm planning on reviewing Disney's new live action remake of Mulan, which is basically the Chinese legend or a Chinese poem that tells the story of Hua Mulan, who is a village girl, so to say, a Chinese maiden, and she basically disguises herself as a man to take her father's place to join the Chinese Imperial Army. So yeah, that's the movie I'm gonna be reviewing about. Unfortunately, I'm not reviewing the animated classic from 1998. I'm gonna be, like I said, reviewing the 2020 live action remake, which I have to say it was okay. It wasn't all that spectacular. Um, yeah, okay. Um, Let me just say this for starters. With all these live action remakes that Disney has is doing, right? I mean, that's the trend right now with Disney doing all their live action remakes of based off of their animated classics. From The Jungle Book to Cinderella, from Aladdin to Beauty and the Beast, from The Lion King to Mulan. And of course, we also had Alice in Wonderland, and they did Alice Through the Looking Glass. Right now, they're gonna do an origin story on Cruella de Vil. You have an upcoming Little Mermaid. They announced Hercules and The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Peter Pan. So there's all these live action remakes that are in development right now, or that have passed, and they already were shown in theaters. Now it is a trend, like I said, this is a trend that Disney is doing. Which, truth told, a lot of people are not all for these live action remakes. I don't mind the live action remakes. I mean, I know I'm gonna go pay to see them because why not? It's the Disney inside of me. There is that nostalgia factor. I mean, Disney making these live action remakes and sucking out the nostalgia from you. It kind of works. I am willing to go see it. I'm not gonna lie. Um, Now, I rather see it and give my fair judgment on it before criticizing the movie that I haven't seen. So, for example, some of the live action remakes, there are some live action remakes that I did like or even loved. I love the 2016 Jungle Book movie by Jon Favreau. I thought that was a really good live action remake of its animated classic. Cinderella from 2015, that was another good live action remake from Disney. Um, this goes to show you that they can work. It's not like they can't work at all. Like, oh no, they like just scrap them off the table. No, some of these live action remakes do work, and I think, um, like I said, for my opinion, The Jungle Book and Cinderella were really excellent choices. I even liked Aladdin. I know some people are probably a little divided on Aladdin, but I actually happen to like it. I thought they did a good job. The only thing I didn't like about Aladdin was the villain, the actor that they chose for Jafar. I thought they could have done better. But other than that, I thought the story was pretty cool. I liked that they gave Princess Jasmine, more to do. Um, you know, she she wasn't just like in the animated classic. Yeah, she was a bit feisty and whatnot, but she was also kind of sexed up a little bit, I guess you could say, in the animated classic. I like how in this one they kept her more how can I say, more modest, and so to say, especially with this whole Me Too movement going on. I love that they were very cautious with her character, but yet she still stood her ground. So I like that. I love the Mina Masuda when he played Aladdin. So again, there are some good live action remakes. However, there are some that are not so great. I didn't think Beauty and the Beast was all that wonderful. Lion King, I know some people really hate that movie. I didn't think it was like terrible, like, oh, it just deserves to be buried in the ground. I thought it was okay. It was just okay, but not the best. It wasn't the best. The animated classic, of course, will always be the best. Alice in Wonderland, I thought for me it was just too weird. I mean, yeah, taking a trip down Wonderland is a very trippy, dream that Alice has, but the classic I think was more. It was just more rich, more vibrant. The modern take with Johnny Depp was just. It was just too like creepy for me, just weird. I did not like it at all. I didn't like Maleficent. I thought it was very. Truth be told, I thought like the whole middle part of the movie was too boring for me. I thought it was a bold take of going through the villain's point of view, But then they kind of made her like the anti-hero, and she ends up being the good guy. And of course, there is like some feminist choices in this movie, I guess, in the movie you could say. So I wasn't even a fan of Maleficent. So again, there are some good live action remakes, and there are some bad ones. Now with Mulan, where does this fall for me? For me, it kind of falls in the not so great category. And here's why. This review is going to explain why, and be aware that there will be some mild spoilers in this review. Um, I'm not like again, I'm not gonna say the whole story. You basically should know most of the plot from the animated movie. Like I said, it's about this Chinese fair maiden who takes her father's place to join the army, and she has to disguise as herself as a man because they will not accept women in the army. So yeah, she disguises herself as a man, but then reveals that she is actually the soldiers do find out she is a woman, but they do then end up helping her, to lead the army, and she defeats the bad guys and saves the emperor. Right? That's the whole story. Now, they do follow the same plot in the 2020 remake. However, of course, as everyone knows, there are these big changes that were made to the movie, and a lot of people were not happy about. For me, I was okay. I was trying to go with an open mind. Um, I didn't mind the fact. I will say this right off the bat. I didn't mind the fact that they took out Mushu or Cricket. And look, by the way, guys, I got my Mushu shirt. See, representing Mushu. I didn't mind the fact that they took out Mushu or Cricket. I'm like, you know what? If you don't want to add talking animals, that's fine. I'm okay with that. You want to make it more realistic? Fine. But the moment you take out Captain Li Shang, for me, I think that was just too much. I think that was just too much for me. Yeah, I watching this movie, Captain Li Shang should have been in this movie, and it's so upsetting to me that he wasn't. They divide his character into two different characters in this movie, which I don't even remember their names right off the top of the bat. I know there's the commanding officer, right? Because Captain Li Shang was an officer, right, in the army, so he was the captain. So you have Donnie Yen, who plays the commanding officer to Mulan and Mulan's mentor. And then you have this other actor who plays Hong Wei, who's basically filling in the shoes as the love interest to Mulan. Um, and truth be told, in my head, I'm just thinking like, okay, so now it's Mulan and Hong Wei, Mulan and Hong Wei. It just doesn't flow for me. For me, it's Mulan and Shang, Mulan and Shang. I'm sorry, guys, but Captain Li Shang should have been in this movie. And I read an article as to why they dropped Li Shang's character. You guys could look it up too. Go on Google, look it up. The reason why they dropped Li Shang was due to the whole Me Too movement. They believed that it was not right for, this girl, basically, who is like a rookie in the army, to fall in love with her superior officer, with her boss, basically. They thought it was a no-no. So yeah, that's why they dropped this character. They didn't want to have, like, a woman in an inferior position fall in love with a man in a superior position in the army. They thought it wouldn't be right. But to me, I'm like, you know, it, Captain Li Shang, even when he and Mulan earned each other's trust and respect at the end of the animated film, their friendship and then eventually their romantic relationship, it worked. It wasn't like abusive or anything. Um, for me, it was just mind-boggling. Like, what? Like, why would you drop the coolest Disney prince ever? Like, I know he's not an official prince, but he's like part of the Disney prince canon. But just no, like, why would you drop Captain Li Shang? I'm sorry, like, I'm not gonna lie though, the actor who played Hong Wei was pretty good looking, but it's just no, for me it has to be Mulan and Shang, not Mulan Hong Wei. What they could have done in this movie, they could have kept they could have made Shang basically what you call it, like they could have made him Shang still stay in the movie, but if you don't want him to be the captain, then just, you could basically demote him to be her equal, so to say, as he's a rookie in the army too, but just keep the name Shang instead of changing the name. And they could have had Shang's father, who was the general in the animated classic. He could have been the commanding officer and mentor to both Mulan and Shang. Why didn't they just do that? I'm sorry, guys, but that was like my biggest pet peeve of this movie. I just had to start out right off the bat with that one. They needed to keep um, Captain Lee Shang. Again, I'm okay if you don't want to have a talking dragon or a lucky cricket, talking animals in the movie, but just no, don't change the coolest Disney character from the movie in this. No, just no. And now, aside from the whole love interest deal, you also have Mulan's friends. They're still the same, I guess. They still have the same name. But I learned more about them, their personality, their interests, their likes in the animated classic than I did in the live action remake. Heck, I can't even remember a certain scene. I can't remember a single scene of them that stood out to me. I just can't remember a scene that stood out to me from the live action remake. Not one. I mean, there's probably one, which was when they were all like camping by the fire, and they were all like afraid to go to war and all that stuff. And Mulan was like saying, "Don't worry, I'm gonna protect you guys." That was like the only scene I remember. Other than that, everything else was pretty bland to me. That was the thing that I felt about this movie. It was bland. The actors were so lifeless. There was no heart. They felt emotionless. Even like um, the main actress, who played Mulan, the lead, Louis, what's her name? Louis Fay. I believe I'm pronouncing her name right. I probably butchered it, but I felt no emotion with her character. Like with any of the characters, to be honest, I didn't feel any emotion. And then with Mulan, all the decisions that she made, especially in the animated classic, like when she goes to see the matchmaker and she brings dishonor to her family because she's such a klutz and just a clumsy girl, or when she makes the big decision to cut her hair and put on her father's armor, or when she reveals herself to the villain that she was the one who caused the avalanche and for his army to be destroyed basically up in the mountains. Those were big moments in the animated classic. And in this one, the live action remake, you feel robbed from that emotion. There really was no emotion in this movie. And even like I said, that when it came to the acting, especially for the actress who's playing Mulan, I felt like she only had like a straight face throughout the whole movie. Even when she was happy, it was just like I don't think she's that happy. It was just she was so wooden. She was so stiff. Again, I didn't feel anything. And even like halfway through the movie, when I was watching it with my cousins, and I said to them like, this movie feels so bland. Like I feel like the animated cartoon characters had more emotion than the live action actors. I mean, yeah, it was to me that was my biggest problem with this movie is that it felt so bland. There was no heart. I didn't care about what any of the characters did. So yeah, that was my biggest pet peeve about this movie. Um, I may be jumping all over this, but it's just I'm so like, ugh, like riled up with emotions about this movie. So yeah, I didn't. So we talked about the love interest. We talked about her friends. Now moving on to the villain. So there is some major changes with the villain as well. Um, in the animated classic, it's the Huns who are led by Shan Yu. Shan Yu may not be the biggest, um, like I don't think he's like top tier Disney villain. I mean, he's not like in the ranks of say like Scar or Ursula and Jafar, all of them, Hades and Frollo and Gaston. I don't rank him up with those villains. But for the role he was in the animated classic, he was pretty menacing. And when he fought with Mulan in the Imperial Palace, I felt scared for her. I thought like, oh crap, like this dude's about to kill her, Mulan, but you better think fast. So it was pretty intense fighting between the two of them. In this one, you don't get many scenes of him, and well, in the live action remake, his name's not even Shan Yu. His name is Borakai, Borakan or something like that. And they're not Huns, they're called like the Rurons or something like that. So they changed the name, but he does kind of have the look. He has the look of Shan Yu, with the long hair and the beard. He has the swords and everything. So yeah, they changed the name, but the look is still the same. But yeah, I mean, he was in very few scenes in this movie. They paid more attention to a new character that they added, which is the witch. Which, to be honest, I didn't care about either. I mean, they spent more scenes on the witch than they did on Borakai. And it's funny because they spent so much time on the witch, and they were trying to give us, they were trying to show the audience that the witch and Mulan are the same. How are they the same, you may ask? Well, it turns out Mulan has chi, and she has very powerful chi since she was born, and so does the witch. And if they both use it, I guess to their full potential, people may see them as outcasts. Okay, but anyway, so yeah, yeah, in this one, Mulan turns out she has superpowers, which are known as chi, and she's had it since she was born. But anyway, I'm gonna get to that point in a moment. Sorry guys, I may be rambling everywhere, but this movie just got me riled up. So yeah, in terms of the witch, again, like I said, they show more scenes of her than they do of Boracay, and they're trying to focus on how she and Mulan are almost similar. But the only difference is that Mulan's peers accept her versus the witch, her peers did not accept her, which is why she was banished and she's working for the villain. When the time comes for the witch to redeem herself, so to say, near the end, she does the ultimate sacrifice to give her life for Mulan, like she protects Mulan. But again, it just was like, okay, like, so you saved Mulan, nice. And then when the witch died, spoiler alert, sorry guys, like I said, there's gonna be so many spoilers here. When it gets to Boracay and Mulan fighting at the Imperial Palace, with trying to save the Emperor and all that, it was like, oh, like here's Boracay, like he hasn't shown up in who knows how many 30, 40 minutes, but here he is, ready for the big final epic battle with Mulan. I was like, oh, there he is. I don't know where he's been all this time, but there he is. Again, they focus so much on the witch that you could care less about what Boracay was going after and trying to steal the throne from the Emperor. It was just, again, characters I did not care about, spent little time on, showed no emotion. They were all bland. Um, yeah, that was basically with the villain. So you could tell I wasn't a huge fan of the love interest. I thought they could have done more with the friends, but they didn't. And they don't spend enough time on the villain that they should be spending more time on. They should have spent more time on Boracay, but instead they spend more time on the witch. Now, like I mentioned before, Mulan turns out she has this power of chi, so we're gonna talk about that right now. So in the animated classic, as you guys may know, Mulan, she's just a normal girl. She's starts out as very clumsy. She's a very clumsy, awkward girl, and she's trying to find her place in society. She does see herself as an outcast because she's not, the popular girl in the village. She recognizes that. So there is a reason as to her joining the army because yeah, she wanted to save her father, but there's even a scene when she's talking to Mushu in the snow that the reason why she probably also joined the army was to get like this recognition, thinking that she could do more, like show people that she's not just, a dishonor basically. She wanted to prove everyone wrong, like no, she's more than that. She's worth more. And she does show it through her actions. She learns how to fight over time with Captain Shang and her other friends in the army, And it's not. And I saw this YouTuber and he commented in the animated classic, Mulan doesn't learn. Yeah, she learns how to fight, yes, but she also learns more than just physical fighting. She also learns how to use her wit. She finds strategies in how to defeat her opponent. For instance, when she's trying to get the arrow from the top of the tree bark or the pole, it's not so much of just like going up the pole with the two heavy metals, that they had to carry up. She learns that she has to wrap it around, and that could help her, climb up the pole. Or even when she's trying to defeat Shan Yu, she uses her wit to find a way, instead of just busting the door with a statue, which the other men or soldiers were doing. She finds a way that maybe they should climb up the palace, the other way around. And so she has everything planned out. So not only does she learn physical fighting, she also learns how to be a strategic, um, planner. She learns that in the animated classic. In this one, like I said, the remake, she's already born with powers. So I felt like she didn't learn anything. All she basically learned was with, and get this, she learns this from the witch, because she learns that she and the witch are alike in some ways. Not to hold back her chi, to use her power to the fullest. And for me, it's like, okay, like, um, so yeah, she didn't even need to go to the training of this, imperial army boot camp, so to say. She didn't really need the training. She already had it all along. So when I'm watching this movie, I'm like, why is she even here to begin with? Like, I mean, yeah, just to register her father's name, but she really doesn't need the training, because she's already has the power. Basically, she already knows how to fight. And again, like, she's had this since she was a kid, which, by the way, they do show a scene of her fighting or doing martial arts as a child, trying to chase a chicken in the very beginning of the movie. Horrible special effects. It's just really bad. And the kid actors are not that great. So yeah, it just didn't make sense to me to do that. Or what they should have done. What they should have done. If they wanted her to have chi since she was born, okay. But what they should have done, again, you want this hero to have a journey, to have an arc. What they should have done is kind of like what they did in the Hercules movie, the animated classic, where this guy, he's born with super strength, but he can't control it. He's very clumsy, he's very destructive with his strength, and that's why people see him or put him as an outcast, because he's so destructive. If um they do kind of show that a little bit in the Mulan remake, where the villagers are kind of whispering to each other as to, like, oh, this Mulan girl, her with her powers flipping up and down over the roof and everything, trying to chase this chicken. They do kind of show it briefly, but I feel like they didn't show it enough. I don't know, like, there just wasn't the execution of it. It wasn't enough. Like, there was no emotion for me to care. It was like, oh, okay, like it didn't hit you hard. Basically, it just didn't do it for me. I think they could have shown a little more of that, and that maybe would have made it better. But yeah, I think to show her, already as, they basically show her as this chosen one, instead of as someone who learns um, life lessons by going through, you know, um, you know, physical training and strategic planning. Like, she goes through this journey, but in this one, it was already given to her. She was already born with that gift. So, and because of that, it didn't work. It just, because she was already given this power, that could be one of the reasons as to why I felt so bland. Because now there really was no uh, like, life lesson for her to learn. There was no arc in terms of that. Um, so yeah, so as you can tell, again, wasn't a fan of the love interest. They could have done more with the friends. The villain, I think they focused too much on the witch instead of Warakai. And the family members of Mulan, there's the mom and the dad. They were fine. Too bad the grandmother wasn't there. I thought the grandmother was really hilarious in the animated film. But they do add a sister for Mulan, which, truth be told, she served no purpose. She was only in it for, like, what? She was only in the movie for, like, less than 3 minutes. She really did nothing in this movie. Like, if you're gonna give her a sister, give her more scenes, give her more personality. The only thing I learned about the sister is that she's afraid of spiders, and she's basically, she follows tradition, so to say, because she is easily matched by somebody at the end, but from the matchmaker. So, um, it just was like, like, why is this sister even in the movie? Like, I learned nothing about her. I don't even know the sister's name. She probably does have a name, but I don't even remember what her name is. Again, like, they put in this character that I don't care about. Um, so yeah, that's basically that's basically how I felt about this movie. What I noticed, what I really did not like about this movie, as I listed, are the characters. I felt like they could have done so much more with the characters, or they could have, like, it's fine that they wanted to do something different. Supposedly they wanted to make it closer to the actual Chinese legend, which is fine. I mean, and besides, Disney's not the only one to adapt the Mulan story. There is another movie about Mulan. I don't know from what studio, but it came out in 2009, and they adapted the Mulan story. So, it's not Disney's not the only one who made Mulan. There are other adaptations of Mulan. It's kind of like the Little Mermaid, right? Disney, the Disney Little Mermaid, with Ariel, is the most widely known Little Mermaid, but there are other adaptations of the Little Mermaid. Same with Cinderella. There are other adaptations of Cinderella. But I think in terms of Disney, they it's fine. Like I said, it's fine if they wanted to do something different. I'm okay with that. But the problem with this movie is that they took out too much. They took out too much stuff and gave us very little. They gave us very little. Um I feel like they needed to find that balance. They should have taken out a few things, added a little bit more stuff, and then you would have had a perfect balanced movie. Now here comes the issue that a lot of people are saying. What's the difference between The Lion King, which is doing a shot by shot remake, but fans are upset, but then you have Mulan, which is doing a bold take of, doing something different, but the fans are still mad. Again, both movies cannot find balance. I think the problem is the remakes have to find that balance. They have to find that middle. The Lion King did a shot by shot remake, and because everybody knows the animated classic, um, it's kind of predictable. You already know what's going to happen. And plus, because the execution of that remake wasn't as good compared to the animated classic. It was more vibrant, more lively, more energy. You just love the animated one more than the CGI remake, so to say. It was predictable. Then you have Mulan, which did a whole lot of changes. And again, if they want to make changes, it's fine. It's fine if they want to make changes. But I think they took out too much. They just, sucked it dry, basically. They did too many changes. Especially and they also took out the songs. Again, what I said at the beginning, I'm fine if they didn't want to have a talking dragon or a cricket. I'm fine with that. If they want to make it more realistic, fine. But I think they took out too many characters, like especially Captain Lee Shang. They should have kept him in this movie. And again, if they wanted to make him her equal, they still should have kept the name Shang for the guy. They should have put more focus on the friends that were in the army. I don't think they should have added a witch. To be honest, I think it kind of it just creates this whole distraction from the other villain, which is Boracay. They should have focused more on Boracay like they did, to make him feel more menacing as what they did with Shan Yu in the animated film. They just took out too much. They took out too much, and because they took out too much, it's like they gave us very little. They just gave us very little. Um, and in regards to the songs, I feel like they should have kept the songs. To be honest, that could just be the nostalgia factor in me. Um, I will say this, because they, like I said, they took out too much, like already changed all the characters. They should have kept the songs. At least keep something, because you're basically going off. You're basically okay. Like, yes, you're adapting the legend of Mulan, but it's pretty obvious by Disney fans that you're going also based off the animated film. It's just a given. And because of that, it just shows, like, because you took out so much, you should have kept the song in there. Or if they did not want it to be a musical, they should have then not taken out so much and at least kept some of the characters from the animated film. Again, they should have found that balance. The best example that I could give you of a Disney live action remake that was balanced and did not do a shot by shot remake, but also changed a few things, again, is The Jungle Book from 2016. And I'll even add in Cinderella from 2015. Not a shot by shot remake. They added or changed a few things, but they were able to please both critics and audiences alike, and they found that balance. That's why those movies worked. They worked because, again, they were able to find that balance. They were able to be in the middle. And I feel like for future live action Disney remakes, they need to see that and take note of that. Like, yeah, I'm fine if you want to make some few changes here and there. It's totally fine. Don't do a shot by shot remake. It's okay if you make a few changes, but do it right. Execute it right. And if you're going to make some changes, don't take out everything. Because obviously it's from Disney. Disney fans are going to be expecting something from that animated film to transition to the live action. So don't take out too much. Take out a few things, but not too much. Keep some things in. Sorry guys, I'm getting all like riled up here. But yeah, that's what they should have done. So yeah, for me with Mulan, the biggest flaw for me were the characters. I think there were too many changes with the characters. Um, and it didn't and because there were all these changes, even if they wanted to make the change, and if they executed it correctly, it probably would have been better, but they didn't execute it correctly, so it just did not work out. I will say this, there are some positive things about this movie. I thought the scenery was really nice and the colors were vibrant. I am gonna give it that. I thought the costume designs were nice. But again, I feel like the look of the movie was nice, but the storytelling and the characters were not so great. I think they could have done better. And the weird part is, I've seen a lot of people say this too. Like they had a problem with the talking dragon and a lucky cricket, but they were okay adding a witch and a phoenix. Which, truth be told, it's like, yeah, that is a bit odd. I'm not gonna lie, that is a bit odd. But then I read somewhere that, now let's talk about this. Let's talk about the phoenix. Now that I bring it up. I read somewhere that the dragon for in Chinese culture is for men, represents for males, and then the phoenix represents for women. So okay, you had the phoenix, but it was just kind of, I don't know, it was just weird to see the phoenix. Like it was just there, but it didn't do anything. Like supposedly it's supposed to watch over Mulan, okay, because her dad prays, he prays to the ancestors and everything to watch over Mulan, so they send the phoenix. But the question is, when Mulan sees the phoenix, am I going to assume that she's the only one who sees it? I don't know. It appears to me that no one else is seeing the phoenix, because even in the final battle when she's fighting Boracay, it doesn't seem like he's looking up. He's just looking at her. So yeah, I'm just gonna assume she's the only one who sees the phoenix. But again, because they took so much out, they could have kept the phoenix, but they should have also kept the dragon. And they could have kept them both, and they didn't have to talk. They should have also kept the dragon to represent Mushu, but not have him talk. They should have had both. I think it would have been cool if they had both the dragon and the phoenix. Of course, they didn't have to talk, but at least be present in the film, to represent the two sides of Mulan. I mean, yeah, I know it has to deal with gender, male and female, but that is basically what this movie is kind of dealing with. She's disguised as a man, but she really is a woman. Whatever. But it would have been cool if they had both. I think they should have had both, and I think that would have been more epic. In my opinion, that would have been more epic. So see, I could have, I don't know, the more I talk about it, the more I feel like there were so many other ways they could have gone with this movie. Let me just say, if I was the director for this movie, I would have done some different things. Like, keep it in some ways respectful to this legend of Mulan, but also to the animated film. Again, they needed to find that balance, and I feel like they did not find that balance. For me, again, I know some people are upset with this movie due to the character changes. For me, the it was just, again, if you want to change the characters, okay, but you you just took out too much. They just took out too much, and what they gave us was very little with no emotion at all. It was just lifeless. So yeah, that's just how I feel about the movie, guys. Um, Now regarding these live action Disney remakes, of course I am looking forward to some that are coming in the future. As you guys see my channel before, I am looking forward to Halle Bailey, who's going to star as Ariel in The Little Mermaid. Now, see, that is a change to the character due to her skin color, her skin tone. However, again, I don't mind if they make a few changes here and there, but they can't take out too much. At least keep some things in it. They are keeping the songs, thank goodness. So yeah, it has to find that balance, and hopefully that movie finds balance. Same thing. I'm also looking forward to the Russo brothers who are producing Hercules. I'm really looking forward to that movie. They even said in an interview that they're not doing shot by shot as the animated film, which you know what, I'm okay with. Don't do a shot by shot as this situation was with The Lion King. But if they are gonna make a few changes, don't do too many changes. At least please keep the songs. That's the big thing for everybody. At least keep the songs. Please keep the songs. But again, yeah, if they want to go closer to the Greek myth, fine. But just pay some respects to the characters, especially to the songs. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I'm also looking forward to that movie. If they don't want talking gargoyles like Mulan didn't want a talking dragon, it's fine. But keep your respects, pay your respects to the characters, because it's the characters who are the ones who are driving the story, moving the story forward. They have to pay their respects to the characters. And yes, please pay your respects to the songs too. The songs are what make the movie everything. So we'll see what goes on from there. But I am looking forward to future Disney remakes. But I just hope they take note of being in balance, be in the middle like the Jungle Book was, where you're in the middle of a shot-by-shot remake of The Lion King, but you're also in the middle of making changes as they did in Mulan. Stay in the middle. Don't deviate so much to the left or to the right. Stay in the middle. But anyway, guys, again, I just gave a few spoilers here and there. This is just my reaction, my feelings, my thinking of the Mulan live action remake. Um, Now, this is the big question. Is it worth $30? I don't think so. I think you could wait till December. Just watch the animated classic. That's the best one. It has more emotion and it has the songs that we all love and grew up with. So yeah. And some may argue, some may argue down in the comments below that I'm making too much of a comparison to the animated classic, but it's just bound to happen. You are going to make a comparison because it's being produced by the same company, which is Disney. Of course, you're going to make a comparison. Even with the Jungle Book, for example, it's the best live action remake in my opinion by Disney. But even when I saw the movie, made some comparisons to the animated film. And surprisingly enough, I ended up liking the live action remake more than I did to the cartoon. You're gonna make the comparisons. It's gonna happen because they're both from Disney. The cartoon and the live action are both from Disney. So you are gonna make the comparison. The question is which version did it better? And that's what comes into play here. Which was executed better. Um so yeah, it's bound to happen. But anyway, guys, that's just my reaction, my thoughts and feels to the new live action remake of Mulan. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought about this movie. Did you like it? If you liked it, that's fine. It's your opinion. Did you like it more than the animated film? That's fine. It's your opinion. If you actually like the animated film more, that's fine. It's your opinion. Just let me know down in the comments below, and please be respectful towards each other. Now, yeah, just let me know. And also let me know down in the comments below if you like any of the previous live action Disney remakes, which was your favorite, which one was your least favorite, and if you're looking forward to the future live action Disney remakes that are coming up in the coming years. So yeah, like and subscribe, and as always, take care, guys. Bye!